connected a couple of minutes back, couple of seconds. So okay, so how about now? Can you guys dial in from your phone if you have any trouble? Oh, my voice is breaking. Oh, okay. What happened, man? I don't know. The software's updated. I haven't checked. I didn't get a chance to verify. Listen, right? Okay. So now when you try to keep an objects, right, your own objects in these collections, you need to always first and foremost rule is equals and hash code. And second thing is toString method. It's always good too, so that if you want to see the data or if you want to play around the data, it will, you can see the data using toString. It's not mandatory, but if you want to look at display purpose, or if you want to log in into what you call loggings, when you are doing in your application, you want to see what object it is, if you want to log it into your logs, so those kind of scenarios you may need to override toStrings as well. So if you run this program, I don't know whether you guys remember in the morning when we try to run, what happens is, okay, so we got some error, but before getting error, ArrayList worked fine for us. ArrayList worked fine for us, and it displayed all the 4 elements, even though they along with the duplicates. But HashSet has been removed the duplicate because we overrided a equals method and hash code method. Okay, and but TreeSet has been failed because it is saying java.lang cast cache exception, mobile phone cannot be cached to java.lang.comparable. Okay, so basically it is giving some error. So let's go back to our structure here. HashSet, TreeSet and linked HashSet, right? So HashSet we understand and we know how to remove the duplicates, but TreeSet has an additional quality of keeping the data in sorting order, right? So when you when you try to keep primitive data types, what happens is like let's say if you try to keep a 4 7 5, this order, you try to insert first 4 and then 7 and then 3, you try to insert like this. Primitive dice you can easily compare, right? Like which is greater, 3 is smaller, 7 is greater, so move 7 all the way right side, move 3 all the way left side beginning, so the sorting order will be done 3 4 7. So next thing is we have a built-in class called string. So you try to put some different colors, and how does it able to identify which one started, like let's say you try to put yellow and red, but when you try to display, you will display red and yellow. How does it identify red word is the first and yellow word is the next in order, sorting order? Because it goes with the alphabets, so it looks for the first letter. R starts first or Y starts first, so R is starting first. Okay, so let's keep it in the first index and yellow in the next index. Let's say there is two words called red and range, both are starting with R. So how can it decide? It goes for the next letter, E, right? So that's how it identifies which one should go into the collection, into the TreeSet first, and then which one should go next. So what it is trying to do is it's trying to compare an element with other. It's trying to compare, right? It's not trying to see whether they are equal or not. Equal or not has been done already. Now as sorting, for sorting always you need something need to be compared, right? Some logic need to be done. So string class already have a compare to method logic. If you go to string class, and if you go to your compare to method, it compares, it checks the length and verifies the all the values, and it takes it to character letters, first value, second value, and then it checks one at a time, and finally returns who is the what do you call it, it returns some value. Based on that, the strings will be get adjusted, right? So same way, so for string you can do like this because it has a built-in functionality. What we need to do, how can we achieve the same thing for your mobile phone, right? So you want to sort it. You are basically, when you try to keep into TreeSet, you are asking whatever the data, whatever the objects that you are trying to keep it in TreeSet, you are asking TreeSet to sort it, right? When you are asking sort it, you need to tell them based on what, right? Let's say I have a students, right? I have a 10 students in the class. I'll ask, can you guys sit in order? They don't understand anything, right? When I say like this, can you guys sit in order? They have no clue what is the order. Based on what? The first thing comes into your mind is based on what? Do you want to sit in order based on gender? Do you want to sit in order based on height? Do you want to sit in order based on names? Do you want to sit in order based on universities? Right? Something based on something you need to convey. Right? Then only if I say, hey, can you guys sit based on names in ascending order? Then Arun sits first, Santosh sits later. Right? So for your mobile phone object that you created here, for that also you need to convey, when you are keeping this mobile phone object, different mobile phone objects in these mobile phone objects in TreeSet, you need to convey, as you are keeping in TreeSet, you need to convey, hey, this is my sorting, this is sorting criteria, this is my sorting criteria. Then it uses that sorting criteria and sort it for you. You can keep hundreds of mobile objects, it will use the same criteria and sort it for you. So for that it uses compare to. For that it uses compare to method. Okay. How does we compare to, or where is this compare to method is? How do you compare it? Right. Next thing comes into my picture is how does it compares and where do I compare it? So one second. From where this, sorry, not this one. So basically Java string able to get this method and do an implementation, because if you go to the class, what it is doing, implements, there is a class called comparable. Okay, using this comparable, if you go to comparable, this is an interface which is having a method compare to. Okay, You remember, it's just an interface. It doesn't provide an implementation. It can take any implementation as long as you implement this comparable class. Okay, comparable class is java.lang. Okay, using this whenever you implement this comparable class, this interface, it automatically asks you to implement this method, right? Then you need to implement that method in your object, in your class. Sorry, you need to implement that compare to method in your class, wherever you are creating an object, and put your implementation logic there. How do it need to compare? Okay, so for that, like I said, first thing you need to say implements comparable. Okay, when you say comparable, it immediately asks you to implement it, right? Add an implemented method. Okay, so now you got compare to. Here T is, you can say comparable of mobile phone. Got it. So just like toString method is in string class, and toString equals and hash code is in object class. This method is in compare to method is in comparable class. So if you want to, when you are keeping these kind of objects in your collection, then you need to have implement the comparable, and comparable has some limitation, and it is nothing but you can choose one of them to sort it, right? I want mobile phone should be sort in the name based, or else you want the mobile names to be sort in cost based, right? So you may have very much aware, right? Like when you go to Amazon, when you select an item, so here you can see relevance, low to high, high to low, average customer review, new arrivals. These are the four things. They are, if you select low to high, what happens is it will start listing it out from the least price, right? Now if you are looking for relevance, right? What is that relevance? It's sort based on, like, it looks for mainly phones, right? So how does it able to, using some logic behind comparable, right? How does it happens? So based on one of the items, that one of the attribute that you can select, what kind of sorting you want. Give me 1 second. I'm just looking at something. So now you implemented, but if you come to here, your implementation is dummy as of now. You need to provide an implementation here. You just returned some junk, right? You need to have some logic. So just like equals method, when I explained you, right, what happens, there is some other object is coming with comparison happens, you have one object reference and you use another object to compare it, right? So same thing here also, some other object, it is coming mobile, some other mobile phone and existing mobile phone you are comparing, right? When you implement this, so how do you implement? So basically what you need to do, you got mobile phone object. So let's say I want to compare based on string, okay, based on name, for say based on name I want to compare and sort them based on name. So how does I implement? Now I got this object and then other object O. Okay, so what I will do is int result equal to this dot operating system dot, you are using string compare to, okay, to object dot, sorry, O dot, what happened? O dot get OS. Okay, return result. That's it. So return result here. Okay. So how does it compares, like, when you are returning int, and I am assuming it will compare. So let's say you kept first yellow and then you try to insert red. Okay, so what happens immediately, as you are keeping into HashSet, TreeSet has a capability of sorting them. It immediately looks for whether this red is goes here or here. How does it do? It compares with yellow. R dot compare to Y, and you will get three outputs: 1, 0, -1. Okay, if both are same you will get 0. If R dot compare to yellow, then it returns 1. If R is the comes first, then -1 is like, if Y is like coming first, then it returns -1. Okay, you will see. I'll tell you, don't get confused. Okay, let's run this program first. Okay, we just implemented based on name. Now here let's run this program. See, now error gone, first thing. And now if you see Samsung, Apple, where is LG? Did we insert it? Somewhere our logic is saying both are same. Ah, let me prove here. This one is like, I'll say Windows. I forgot. Yeah. As like, if you observe TreeSet, if you observe in TreeSet, what you're trying to do is you in your comparison logic in your mobile phone, you're trying to compare just operating systems. If the comparison returns 0, then what happens? They both are same. The both are same, right? You getting my point? So you are based on operating system you are comparing, and earlier Samsung and LG operating systems are same, so it removed. Okay, I don't think so you guys are catching it up, but let me show you. There are two things happens in this set. Okay, when you have Android here, what happens? First thing, everybody agrees, as and when you keep it in Apple again, that will be eliminated by your toString and hash equals and hash code. Agreed? So we don't need to worry about this piece. So now we left with 3. So when we keep these 3, when you left with these 3 in a TreeSet, what it's trying to do? It's trying to compare. You are asked to compare to what? You asked to compare to operating systems. When it tries to compare, so first it checked Android, Samsung, so it inserted. Next it went for Apple. So it understood Apple comes first, or like, you know, what you call, you are asking to compare like based on operating system. Operating system starts with Android, right? Operating system starts with Android A, so it goes first. This one goes first, and then Apple goes next. Then again you try to put LG with Android. So, and you are asking compare with only with Android. So okay, what I'm trying to say is, you asked here sort it based on operating system. So when you asked based on only operating system, then what happens is, as and when, if even though the phone brand is different, the operating systems as and when they are same, then your comparator will become 0 and remove the latest one trying to come in this case LG. Okay, so that is the reason I changed it to window. No, I don't want to change it to window. I still want to keep it Android here, and I still want to display LG as well, as it is a different band, right? Then what you can do, you can do one thing. If result comes as a 0, result comes as 0 in the sense both are equal. When you are comparing, based on operating systems, if both become 0, then what it needs to do, you need to convey again this dot what you call name dot compare to o dot get name. See, now you understand what you're doing here. Now first you compare, like, you know, here you are using two criterias. Like when I said, like, can all the students sit in order based on name? Then, like, you know, there are two students with the same name Arun. What happens? Then the competition comes. Who sits first? Which Arun sits first? Then I should say, hey, then students will raise their hand. Hey, we both are same name, Arun and Arun. So who should sit first? Then I can say, okay, then based on height, you can start based on height in ascending order. You can sit. So then shorter Arun will sit first. Then height, whoever is height than the shorter Arun, he will sit next to him, right? So the next comparison, right, the level, that's what you do, right? Just the basic common sense. But in terms of while writing code, it may be a little confusing, but think in a real world problem, right? Always. Okay, so sometimes, right, let's say simple, another logic I'll tell you. You are looking for rent. Okay, one you looked at point at Dallas, you looked at Dallas Green, and when you look at it, they both are 2 bedroom. So the criteria is same. So you basically want 2 bedroom. So Dallas Green said we have 2 bedroom. Pointed Dallas says we have 2 bedroom. Oh damn, both are having 2 bedroom. So your next criteria you'll think. What is your next criteria? Okay. So how many square feet it is? So Dallas Green says it's 1200. Pointed Dallas says 1200. Damn, both are same. So what is my priority next? Commute. Okay, so does the Dallas pointed Dallas is next to the all the happenings or Dallas Green is next to happenings? Both are same. Oh God. So now I need to make a decision, right? So next thing comes budget. Dallas Green says like I'll give you for 1600. Pointed Dallas says I'll give it to you for 1800. Now it comes to a decision which one you want, right? Both having same facilities, both are next to each other, both are equal for all the things that are happening, or all grocery stores, all the stuff. Then the next thing comes into my budget. So now you choose, like, if your budget is the criteria, then you choose blindly Dallas Green, right? So that's what we are trying to do. First we try to compare operating system. If both are same, then you compare name. So if both names are same, so let's say operating system is Android and both are Samsung, then you will see version. If you have a definition of version here, you can do it for version. You don't have for now, but you can do it for version as well. Then if you do it for version, what is next? Then if version is same and brand is same, operating system is same, then both phones are same, right? Is it, or maybe you can do it like, is it used or new? If both are new, then both are same, right? You guys good now? Again? I don't know, man. This internet sucks. Can you guys able to hear now? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So nice. Here in mobile phone also we are doing the same thing. Okay. First you are comparing operating system, then name. Then you want further comparison based on cost, right? So let's start now. So in your data structure, you are using still Android. Let's see whether it will remove it or not. It's still removing it. Are we doing something wrong? Oh, we haven't captured the result right here. Okay, let's run this. Now you got it. See, both are coming. The sorting order is, first it looks for operating system based. So A comes first before I, right? So both are Android. So A's are on the beginning and I is last. So this one is done. So now next, among these two, what is the comparison we said? Name. So L comes first, S comes next. So based on name, it's sorted. Or else you can write a criteria like, you want sort by cost as well. Getting my point? So let me show you. Any doubts here? We good? Any confusions? So it returns 1 or -1 or 0. Can we try to see the result? I'll just try to show you one comparison. Okay, this debugging structure. Okay, so in my program I'll go here, instead of run as, I'll say it as debug as Java application. Okay, it asks for perspective, you will change the perspective, it will do blah blah blah. Yeah, so it came here. So what and all the objects are there? So Samsung object here, comparison is happening. This O is Samsung with Android, and this one is Samsung and Android, the first one, right? So let's go ahead and proceed because we don't need to worry about it. And then next one comes. Now see, this is Apple and comparing with what? Samsung. So this dot operating system dot compared to, in the sense, this operating system is Apple operating system, iOS operating system, comparing with Android. So the result should be, let's check, I'll show it, evaluate, right? Right click, inspect. So 40. So it will be considered as what you called positive number. Okay, basically it looks for negative, positive, or 0. So the result is party. If then it will considered as positive number. So all the positive numbers will be considered as 1. All the negative numbers are considered as -1. If both are equal, 0. We will see that as well. Let's see. Now we are comparing what? Samsung and LG. Okay. In this case, the result here should be 0 before entering the location. So let me show you. Now the cursor is here. So now the result is 0 because Android is same. Now after moving cursor from here to here, the result will be some number. Let's see. The result is -7. So what happens is, it is comparing LG with the Samsung. LG with Samsung. This dot LG is comparing with Samsung. If it is a negative number, it will reverse it. Okay, it will reverse it. If it is a negative number, it will reverse the elements, like, you know, it will move the elements here to here, here to here. If the positive number, it will keep it as is. If both are same, it will remove this. Okay, that's what happens. Continue. We can disable the debug. If you look at the here, same thing, LG, Samsung. So your criteria is first operating system and then name. Any confusion? Good. So there is another option. There is this, in this way, one disadvantage is you always need to implement comparable object, comparable class. You always need to implement comparable interface. Sorry, I am using wrong terminologies. You need to always implement comparable interface. Then you provide the implementation here. Okay, so there are another option, that is nothing but, if you want, so this one can, this is the comparable which is used by HashSet, TreeSet internally to compare the objects. Okay, what if you really want to compare an elements which are there in ArrayList, as you don't want to go with TreeSet, Okay, as you don't want to go with the tree set, but you still and your all your elements are in the array list, you still want to compare, based on certain criteria, then the best one is comparator. Okay, so here the differences. Okay, we'll read out the differences and we will do the comparator as well. Okay, sorting logic. Okay, I'll wait. How about now? Okay, good. So now sorting so we'll see the differences. Okay, comparable, we just learned how to do it. We must implement this comparable class, comparable interface in each and every object that you want, where you want to, if you want to keep it in HashSet. But I want to keep the elements in array list, I still want to sort it, right? So in that case, so it's better to go for comparator because it can be independent of your object, first thing. So sorting logic must be in the same class whose objects are being sorted. In our case, mobile phone. Hence, this is called natural ordering of objects. Comparator. In comparator, sorting logic is in separate class. Hence, we can write different sortings based on different attributes of the objects to be sorted. Okay. And the next one is implementation. Class whose objects to be sorted must implement this interface. Comparable interface, right? Country class need to implement comparable to collection of country. Maybe last time when I'm explaining that country class I used. Okay. This one, comparator. Class whose objects to be sorted do not need to implement this interface. Some other class can implement this interface and we can use it. I'll show it to you how. This is the logic. Sorting method. Int compare to method, right? This method compares this object with one object and returns an integer results. Its value has the following meaning. Positive. The object is greater than O1. Okay. So this object is, you are comparing two objects, right? What are the two objects? One is O1, another one is this, right? So this dot compared to, when you are doing, if it is a positive, then this object is greater than O1. If it is a 0, this object is equals to 0, equals to O1. Negative, this object is less than O1. These are the meanings of positive, 0, negative. And based on that, it will be adjusted, readjusted the elements inside the collection. Here also same, positive, O1 is great. Here you use two objects right now. You will pass two objects. Here you are passing one object and comparing the current object because you are implementing on the same class. But as you are doing separately, you need to pass both objects. Like you need to pass this object as well as this object, because you wrote somewhere logic, not as part of this object itself. You haven't wrote, you wrote separate logic for this comparison. So you pass this y object and red object, both are will be passed and it will determine the logic and return it back. Okay, so positive is O1 is greater than O2, 0 is both are same, negative is 0 is less than 0, 1. Okay, and you can use collections.sort of list, and this one is collections.sort of list. Here objects will be sorted on the basis of compare to method. Okay, here objects are sorted based on the compare method in the comparator. So namings are a little confusing, but remember, comparable is within the java.lang package, comparator is java.util package. How about now? I think it's restored. Still not clear? Okay. Sorry, man. I'm really sorry. This is so annoying for you guys as well, because same thing here, same frustration. Can't do much. Why today is... Oh, tomorrow is all day. Yeah, so many idiots are browsing across. Yeah, you can't do anything, right? So I increase my speed as well. I can't do more than this. Yeah, keep... Yeah, last time, like, let's try one last time. Sorry, let's try one last time. If you guys able to hear, we can continue. Otherwise, we can take a break. I really want to continue, but let's see. Can you guys able to hear? Or is it still breaking? Damn it, man. This is no good. Is it breaking or not breaking, Naveen? Oh, okay. It's continuing. When I continue trying to talk, it's breaking. So can we take a break today? Tomorrow, can we start? Continue? Will that works? Tomorrow, then I may need at least 3 hours from you, from all of you.